Welcome back to another SFBC podcast. Today we have a very interesting show for you. But before we begin, I would like for you guys to do one thing for me. Just go ahead and find that subscribe button wherever it is on your screen and click on that subscribe button so that we can get this show out to more people. Also during the show, if you like anything that you hear, go ahead and click on the like button because it does help the algorithm also. Beyond that, if you want to comment or if you have questions that you would like for us to cover in future podcasts, go ahead and comment and subscribe, and also don't forget to share this with other people. Today we have two IDF soldiers with us, all the way from Israel. And I'm excited to have this conversation because this conversation is something that is, it's a current event. It's something that's very important for us to really talk about. And today we get to get the perspective from two people who are living a life that only just some of us just could only live out through the television. We see it on TV, but they actually live this out. So wherever you are, just stand up, put your hands together for Gal and Ziv.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you guys so much for making it out here with us. We know that you've been in America for how many days now?
I think something like 16 days.
16 days. And you guys enjoying it so far?
Yeah.
What did you see? Tell me a little bit about what you saw.
We've been to New York, the Empire State Building,
Okay.
the 9/11 Memorial.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've been, after the death, we go to Boston, and then we spent 2 days in Boston. We threw the tea to the sea.
There's nothing in Boston though, right? You just went right there.
But the aquarium,
To all our Bostonians out there, I'm sorry.
We liked Boston, it was very interesting.
Yeah.
And then we went to Washington.
Wow.
We spent them there a whole day, just visiting the main sites, the White House, the
Capitol.
The Capitol, yes.
Nice. Very nice.
After that, we flew to Orlando. We did all the famous parks, the Universal, the
Disney.
the Disney. We get to spend some time with the family there that are also our friends. To
Cristalia.
celebrate.
Oh, okay.
They were at Cristalia's house.
To celebrate with them Easter, and then we're here.
Now you're here.
Now we're
Awesome. Again, thank you so much for being here. I don't think it's an easy subject to talk about. I want to just preface everything we're going to talk about by saying that this is not some kind of a debate, number one. This is basically us wanting to learn a little bit more about your story, to learn a little bit more about your perspective, how you see things, your reality. And because I don't know. I don't live there. I can only get what I get through, the media. And I don't want to get these false narratives. We have AI nowadays just drawing up all types of things, and it's unhealthy, I think. But I think it's very healthy for us to have this discussion and just to talk, for us to learn a little bit more about what's going on. So let me just begin, Nilsi, by asking one question. How did you guys become IDF soldiers? What's the story?
Oh,
You start. You start.
I think in Israel it's obviously it's mandatory.
Okay.
You don't have to be like a warrior. You don't have to be in the armored groups or infantry. You can do logistics or intel and cyber warfare. But a lot of the people in Israel, they want to be a warrior, a fighter, because depends on where you grow up. But it's in our culture. Everybody in Israel take part in it. And most of the people want to do it, and it's from a young age. In dinners with all the family, you hear stories about your father or your family or cousins. You always the stories are always about wars or the army most of the time, and it's something that you just grow in. You grow to it. Everybody has this. Most of the people in Israel want to be in the army.
Would you say most of the people, are you talking about young men or young women or both?
Both. We also have women that are warriors. We have units. My girlfriend she's a warrior.
She's a warrior.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Fighter,
Yeah. She's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. What is what would you say the worst thing that you've ever experienced in terms of being a part of, the IDF with your experience? What's the worst thing that you could say that you've
The
experienced?
IDF generally. Oh, what do you
It
mean?
depends.
Yeah.
If we're speaking, you want us to speak about training casual times, or you want to speak about war?
Yeah.
They're very much not the same difficult.
Hmm.
Yes, so maybe point it so
Yeah.
it will be more clear to us.
Okay. So I was in the Air Force personally, and here in America, for whatever reason, a lot of people get deployed, especially during wartime. You get deployed, and some experience war, but not everyone get to experience war. Did you guys get to experience war at all?
Yes.
Yeah, we both experienced war.
Okay.
Gal, tell him.
Yeah, my war style, we can call it like this. My war started. It's the same morning of the 7th of October attack. We were responsible for from Kibbutz Kisufim till Kerem Shalom, and basically I was at the time at the vacation at home, a holiday vacation, and I come back a little bit afternoon to help with the fighting, yes. And afterwards we fought them at near the Gaza Strip at the Kibbutzim, I think for something like a week.
Wow.
Or so, and then we started to rearrange for the main battle, for the main war, for going into Gaza. That's where I met Ziv for the first time since the war began at 7th of October. Yes, and then we entered Gaza. We saw the war. Ziv saw it a little bit more. Because
You guys are brothers.
Yes.
Okay, so who got called in first?
We
were
both
both in
in
active
active duty, so we didn't get
Yeah.
called. We were
you
both
went
in the
in.
army,
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
but different parts of the country. Ziv
Yeah, I
was
was
stationed
in the north border.
in the north border, and I was in Gaza Strip. But when Israel decided that she will go to war, then we both brought to the same place near Gaza, yes, to rearrange.
Paint me a picture of the Gaza Strip from your perspective, because I don't know anything. I've only seen it on television, and that can be conflated to anything. Give me your perspective on what that's like over there.
You know, actually, it was very shocking because we didn't saw it either. We only saw maybe a picture of it, maybe some films that were made on it. But when our first attack was on the Gaza city, in
Yeah.
Gaza. So it's a very rich, very wealthy section of Gaza. And we came and we drove there with our troops, with our soldiers, with our tanks. And we saw tall building, almost skyscrapers.
skyscrapers
And we were in
villas.
shock. We said, what is
Wow,
it? It's New
they're
York
living
City.
better than me.
It's New York City, guys. What's happening here? We all left. Yes, how it's look? It's very packed. It's very packed. There are
Very
many
dense,
areas.
yeah.
Really?
Very packed. Yes.
But you were walking amongst the people. You were in Gaza at this time. No.
No.
You just
No,
saw
at
it.
the time,
They will evacuate.
Yeah, we
When?
evacuate them before we come.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
They will be evacuated before we come, before we enter the Gaza. The Gaza will split into zones,
Yeah.
war zones and refugee zones.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a good point, because I hear that all the time where they say, oh, Israel is bombing Gaza and they're destroying everything, and it's a constant thing that I hear all the time from various sources, and I think people have this idea that there's this unfair advantage in a sense that Israel has, and they're just completely destroying Gaza and they're taking lives. That's what I hear. Can you clarify on that a little bit for me? Because what I'm hearing is that you asked people to retreat, and then there were war zones, and then there were other zones that were not war zones.
Yeah.
explain that a little bit deeper for me.
In many of the cities that we went, always the city will be evacuated before we go and before anything happens. And when we go in, most of the times we don't hit hospitals. Only if we know that there are terrorists inside, then we have to, because it's us or them, really. But most of the time we won't hit hospitals, and we won't shoot at civilians. For us to shoot, we have to see a gun or something, or they're shooting at us.
Right.
Then that's scary for a soldier that's there, because you risk your
You
life.
have to wait
Yeah.
to being attacked.
That's risking your life, so you won't hit civilians. And you're very humanic, that's how you say?
Human. Yeah.
Human, yeah. That's a very human thing about the army that I liked about our army. I think that's what makes the difference. Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that kind of training that you get, that how to preserve civilian life? Like, how do they tell you? What was the training?
There are very specific
Yeah.
orders and rules of opening in fire.
Yeah.
Very specific, and for each mission, for each zone, for each vehicle that you're in, there is a specific order of opening fire and actually committing the firing. And the basic rule that you need to follow, the main line that it follows, it's you need to be attacked or seen as signs that that shows you that the person in front of you wants to attack you.
To engage in war.
To engage, yeah.
There has to be imminent danger.
Yes,
Yeah.
you need to see they have a weapon, they have some signs of the organization maybe, therefore army, because it's not an army in this specific case.
Right.
And
Yeah,
that's why we are also very cautious.
Right,
Yeah.
because right
Cautious.
now you're not fighting someone who's fighting fair either. I would imagine, from what I'm hearing. I hear that this is you're fighting terrorists, so
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
so much a country's army. It's just terrorists. Is that correct? Would you say that?
Yes,
Yes, it's the terrorists.
they are considered also by the world, I think, and by Israel and by I think also the United States, but I'm not really sure. They are considered a terrorist organization. So yes, we're fighting terrorists and not a regular army like we train to do. But I think it's not fair. Yes, it's not fair for both of the sides, maybe.
Yeah.
We bring a lot of force that they don't have, and they try to do
Guerrilla warfare.
guerrilla warfare.
Right. Seems as if you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, that because you're almost as if trying to fight a fair war,
Yeah.
but on the other side is
We
guerrilla
don't try to
warfare.
fight a fair war.
No.
No, you don't try to fight a fair war.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm saying that you have point of perspective for each side.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we are done trying to fight a fair war, and I think it's okay. You try to win the war. You're trying to achieve your goals.
They also try.
They also try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
That's
do you
war.
mean? What do you mean about?
All
Do you
depends.
understand what a fair war means?
There's not. I think that there's not.
There's
there
nothing.
isn't
There isn't a thing. I think like a
Like
fair
fair
war.
war, yeah.
It's
There's
all
no
about the
thi-
causes.
Yeah.
It's all about the goals you want to achieve. That's the difference between the sides. No one is trying to play fair, but the goals that you're trying to achieve is the difference.
Okay. So
doing
what
this.
was your goal?
Our goals, as Israel defines it, I'm hoping that I'm not mistake, but the goals was to bring the hostages was one of the first goals, to disarm the Hamas organization. Yes, and the last goal, I think this was the two main goals. Okay, and their goal, as it seems, was much different.
You can see it at the October 7.
Yeah.
they went to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went to houses, they murdered everything they see, they took hostages. They wanted I think they wanted the leverage upon us with the hostages, and they just killed everybody. They didn't care if it's old people, if it's a child. It was horrifying.
Talk to me about revenge.
Revenge. Revenge is an emotion eventually. It's an emotion, and emotion go away. I think when it all starts, there was a sense of revenge. We want to revenge. We also, in my company, we had losses, we had casualties. We had one team that got kidnapped, and we wanted to revenge. And I think maybe it was one of the things that also motivated a lot of soldiers, at least in my company. But it doesn't last, because revenge is not a cause. Eventually, when you fight in Israel, is fighting, I think, for almost 3 years now. So you can take an emotion like revenge and call it a cause. It's not a cause. So the people will not survive in this war if they only seek revenge. We all see the goal in front of our eyes. Revenge was at the first, I think. I can't talk to everybody. I'm speaking mostly about myself and the people that were with me.
Well,
but
I think we know the governments, they have their reasons for the war. What would you say if you were to tell me, what's the reason for the war?
I think the reason for the war, it's not very much different from what the government says. Everybody, I think, in Israel seek peace. They want peace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eventually, they want peace.
Really
Nobody
wants to
likes
fight.
war.
Yeah.
Yes, they want peace, and now the tool, in quotes, the tool that we use is war to get peace, which is a little bit funny, but yeah, this is the thing. We had an organization that threatened us and was eventually hurt us, and we used the tool of war to prevent from him to do it again, and maybe to get a peace in this region, in this conflict.
I see.
At least for me, I think for Ziv also. I think it's the common opinion in Israel.
Yeah.
What do you think needs to be done in order for this war to cease?
For me, I think that Hamas need to be unarmed from their guns, but it's really hard to answer that, because it happened before in history, not in Gaza but in Lebanon, during, I don't remember exactly the years, but there was a war, there was an organization in Lebanon, they got disarmed, their leader was kicked to, I don't remember what country.
Which country, we don't remember.
Yeah, but another organization just came.
Yeah.
One got down, another one risen up.
Right.
It's not really the one that works. We hope that we will be able to help educate them to peace also. I don't know. I think that the education that they get is really violent.
Toxic.
Violent, yeah, and toxic. And I think that the main thing that we need to do is educate the young generation to love, to peace, not to warfare. And that's something that's the change that needs to come.
So you're thinking the solution would be educate people more on bringing peace rather than educating them to be violent. That's good. Earlier you guys told me that before we started the show that you guys are reserve now, but both of you were active at some point, active duty. Run me through maybe your one day. What does a day look like for you?
In the war.
In the war.
So I think it's not very similar, because we had different parts with different jobs.
So what did you do?
I was second in command in my company, So I was an officer in my company in the armored corps, and so my day will usually, you know, you don't have the regular schedule. You don't say I wake up in the morning and something like this, but usually it will start with me going on in the radio system, asking for all the tanks in my company and the infantries what they need to get, like logistic things, supplies, healthcare, things like this, what they need, and then I will collect from all of them. It's a thing that it's an act that can take let's say 2 hours, 1 hour, 1 hour to 2 hours, depends on how much they ask. And then I need to speak with the how do I say it in English?
With the logistics.
The logistics center in back in Israel.
Okay.
So I go, I call them on the radio system, and then I tell them what we need, and they will arrange it, and a couple of days later it will be brought to us to Gaza. Yeah, to the war, even in Lebanon or Gaza, where you are in. Okay. And then I will probably go and work on some plans of attack, some plans of defense, a war plan. Yes, for how we're gonna do these things, because of me being one of the officers in the company, you know, that kind of stuff. And then you like cook, you like go to the bedroom, you eat, maybe a wet towel shower. You take a little bit of wet towels, wipe your body, and change clothes, something like this. Yes.
Wow.
This I think this coffee, you know, somewhere between you are drinking something like 5 coffees.
And energy drinks, a lot of
energy drinks, because you don't get a lot of sleep, so you find another
you find another solution.
Another solutions.
What do the night times look like in terms of sleeping? I know you probably have somebody on watch at all times.
In the tank, because you're 4 people, it always changes, but there's always one that's in watch, that's guarding, and it's
you don't get a full
a full night's sleep.
A full night's sleep. It always
Most
cuts in.
time,
You have here 2 hours. You have here 1
there
hour.
2 hours.
There 2 hours. Yes.
Yes.
This
There's always someone on watch.
Yeah. So you get 2 hours, and you go months like this. That's the hard part. You go months like this of 2 hours sleeping now. Now it's actually 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. and now you get to sleep. So you know the tank is very hot and you get the sun on your face, and now you have the 2 hours to sleep. So you go to sleep.
Oh my goodness.
So you need to do this.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you want people to know about, I guess, the war that we may not know?
I would actually love to say that we talked about it. And we hear a lot in the media, of the world media. We know what they say and we know what they're doing. We need to say, I would say in front, that in war, you go to war and you know that there will be casualties. There will be casualties, but the great thing that I think Israel and the IDF is doing is to try to minimize it as much as they can, and it's a very tough environment to do so.
Casualties for both sides.
Both sides, yes. But I'm talking about, you know, you always heard genocide, you always heard this kind of words. And you know that there will be casualties, there will be consequences for your actions eventually, in everything.
Yeah.
So, but the amazing thing I think that the Israeli and the IDF is doing, which is really amazing in my opinion, is to try to minimize it to the bare minimum. So we are doing a lot of action in order to do so, that actually risking the life of our soldiers and protecting the Gaza citizen and who needs it. We're doing like in humanitarian halls. We told you, like before we go into a zone in Gaza and we declare it a war zone, we need to evacuate the population. So we do it in a way that we create a hall, and everyone who needs to walk, they are just walking there. We are standing right next to them. Sometimes you see soldiers give the people water.
Yeah, water.
Yeah, water. We have, you know, we don't have the best food, so
but we give them what we
have the cans,
cans
the cans, tuna cans, if we can, because you see little children, you see, we don't have the attention. When you see a little kid or little children, no one, I think,
it's not easy.
yeah, with a common sense, has the attention no matter what he is, no matter if he's a Palestinian, no matter if he's Israeli. We don't think that, we don't have the urge to kill or something like this, you know. I think we're pretty much imaged in the world like monsters, the Israeli soldiers, and it's not like this at all.
I've heard it from both sides, both angles, where I've heard people say, you know, Palestine has been doing some very, you know, corrupt and wrong things, and I've heard it from the other side too, where Israel has been doing some corrupt and wrong things. So I'm hearing this bickering, but it's hard when you have so much social media nowadays
it's hard to know what's true and what's
you know, and that's why it's important, I think, that you guys are here. And you mentioned it earlier that there are casualties on both sides. How do you deal with that reality, knowing that, you know, you go into a space like, just, you know, end up in Palestine, somewhere in Gaza, and you know, we've been there, and maybe the orders that I put out maybe have, you know, completely demolished some area where maybe we knew or maybe we didn't know that there were innocent civilians. How do you deal with that reality?
Like we told, you know that there will be casualties. You can't avoid it. The caution is the key. The caution is the key, and not to be too hurry to do stuff and to be too excited, because that's what kills not only the other side, but it also kill us. If you get too excited, if you get too hurry up and do things, especially if it's man life or a human life that we are talking about, that can be affected. You can't know. You can't always know for sure that you will not hit a single soul.
Right.
You can't know it for sure, especially not in a war zone.
Right.
You can't. You just can't.
I'm going to ask a question that I think Nilsi should be asking, but I'm asking it for her because I know she's thinking it. How's your mental health?
Right to the hard stuff.
Yeah, I think we saw a lot of things.
Yeah.
Both of us, every IDF soldier saw a lot of things, experienced a lot of things.
What are things?
You experienced death. A lot of us didn't encounter it in our lives before it. And to encounter it in war zone, I think it's a little bit hard, a little bit shocking.
You always say to yourself that, like you said, you know there will be casualties, but when it really happens, it's like a shock.
What's the first time, like, explain to me, take me through the first time you've experienced death?
Probably in October 7th.
Really?
Yeah. Gal in his company, they had key hostages.
Yeah, we had
and
one
also
team that got hostages and another team that got injured.
Yeah.
But I think during the war, the casualties were. Because at October 7th it was crazy. It was crazy. You didn't really know what happened to other people. Just your close circle. But when we went to war, it was very organized. So you knew. If you were in rank high enough, you knew, and you knew what's going on. Especially in this area of like the life of your friends and the other companies and the other army. And I think dealing with it, the hardest thing to deal with someone injured during battle, during combat, and you are evacuating him. As the second in command, one of my jobs in the combat is to be responsible on the rescues. On the rescues, so my company and our company commander can continue to fight, and you deal with all of it. You're rescuing that person, that friend even, to an helicopter or to the border, and you come back to the fighting. Immediately come back to the fighting. So you don't know. This is, for me, was the hardest part. You don't know what's going on with them. You don't know if he survived, if he's gone, and it can be days before you don't have your cell phone, so you don't have anything, any media, anything. You only have the radio connection to the country, and that's the hardest part, that you don't know, and you have to continue like nothing happened. That's the hardest part for me.
I'm going to ask, do you have anything you want to ask? But I do have.
I do have a couple a couple things to follow up with that. When you think about those hard things that you had to see, that first dead body, either from a civilian that was not meant to die, or a casualty, you know, a person, a woman, a child. Because when we say casualty, we take away the identity, right? But if we call it somebody's mother or somebody's father or somebody's child, does that help them become more human? Or how do you deal with knowing that a human has
It's not easy.
died?
It's
So
not easy.
what makes it easier for you since then? How do
Since
you do it?
Mostly to talk about it.
Gathering like this one.
Yeah, every time we go out, normally there will be a psychologist.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah?
good.
Yeah, normally we'll talk to psychologists.
You have psychologists
We
that's
have people in the army that their
they're-
duty is to
Talk
be
to
psychologists,
soldiers. Yeah. After war, normally there's like a group chat with psychologists, and you talk. That's your place to talk. For me, in my tank, we were very close, the whole team. So we would always,
Talk to each other.
yeah. We would
how
always
many?
talk to
Four?
each other.
4 guys?
Yeah, 4 guys.
Tell me about them. How old were they?
They were my age, my commander. I had 3 commanders. They were all super good. I liked them, but the 2 that were simple soldiers, the one that operated the tank, we were really close. Nir and Mayan, that's their names.
Okay.
And it's a different relationship. It's a
Yeah.
different thing. Like
Like
when
different
you-
from when you were in high school, different from.
Yeah, it's different. Even my dearest friends before the war, from home, from school, I liked them very much. But the one that were inside the tank with me, it's something else.
Yeah.
It's just the connection is so strong, and they're my
'Cause
safe place.
You're not going
They're
to
your
sleep
safe
and waking
place.
up with your high school friends.
Yeah.
So
They're
yeah.
safe. And how old are you?
I'm 21.
21.
Yeah, and you're
Very young,
stuck with them in a metal box for months, and you just talk and you start to know everything about them,
yeah.
and it's really amazing. It's really
So you share?
amazing. Yes,
You guys
we shared a lot, everything. We were missing our families to, I can't believe that happened, this day was crazy, and we just normally when I make the food, I was the chef.
Woo!
Yes, because he's the loader.
Yeah.
He's basically the
You
maid.
cook inside the tank?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sometimes, yeah, but normally it's sandwiches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have bread and tuna.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Tortilla sometimes.
Tortilla,
Tortillas.
Sometimes
like
tortillas, yeah.
sausages. How do you say?
Sausage.
It's a dry sausage.
Dry
sausage, yeah.
I
Beef
think-
jerky.
Beef jerky.
Yeah, beef
We had a lot
jerky.
of beef jerky also, yeah, a lot of protein.
When you guys talk, it's so strange for me because I see so much joy from when you guys are talking, and you know, just to think about where you're at in the midst of or where you've been through, you wouldn't even expect that kind of joy. Like when you're talking about
Yeah.
your friends, there's such a smile, a glow that comes upon
Yeah,
your face.
that's the small things that make the difference, you know.
Are you
I
guys afraid of
focus-
dying at all?
Yeah, of course.
Everyone, I think, is afraid.
Yeah.
You have what to live for. You have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But inside the war, when you are during the war, during
you're
combat,
not-
you don't
you don't
think
think
about
about
it very much. Because if we do think about it, I think we will be very depressed.
Yeah.
So you need to pick the morale up.
Wow.
So
don't
you'll
think
change the subject? So for instance, you didn't never share it and say, hey, listen, if I die, please let my mother know this. Did you ever have that kind of conversation?
No, not really.
Actually,
no.
our mother didn't allow it us even.
Yeah.
She taught us a thought make a reality.
Yeah,
Ah.
so
And I think it's really important. A thought make a reality. If you prepare we didn't prepare any notes,
Yeah.
any kind of stuff, yeah.
Did you ever lie to your mom about where you were or how scared you were when you talked to her?
No, I don't think so. No, we're very close.
Yes.
Yeah, like most of the time I won't tell her where I am because I can't.
Oh,
Yeah,
you can't share.
Yeah, so if they're listening, so they want the command is you don't tell where you are, but when I would call home when I can, it's always I'm okay, I'm good. She's okay with it. Take care of yourself. You're strong. Everybody is praying for you. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Yeah,
And come back home safely.
and come back home.
We are waiting for.
This is a question I'm just putting myself in the shoes of the viewer, people who are listening to this podcast, and I'm just thinking, I'm putting myself in their shoes to ask the questions I think they would want to ask. And the question that's popping up for me is there anything that you've been through prior to your service or during your service that helped shape your view of Palestinians?
Wow. I think that during the war and before, for me, it's weird to say, but I really believe that there's a change, that there's something is changing, and it was we forgot. Israel and a lot of civilians forgot about all the wars that we had with them, and we got, how do you say it? We were sleeping on that, like we.
But I think our opinion on Palestinians was very. We live with them. In our hometown, is Ariel, it's in Judea and Samaria, we live with them. One of our most favored shawarmas is
an
Arab place, you know, so it's a Palestinian place.
Yeah.
So
Shawarma.
Shawarma, it's a wrap. It's a wrap with most of the chicken, lamb,
lamb.
And you don't go to that place anymore.
Now we don't. Now we don't. But we lived with them, you know. We trade with them. We bought with them. We employed them. That's how we said. So our opinion was like we live next to each other. It's okay.
Yeah,
we can do it.
Now
we can coexist.
Yeah.
together.
Now it's not that we hate them or something like that. We're more cautious.
Yes.
Yeah, because you don't know.
You were betrayed.
Yeah.
It felt like it.
Yeah, from Gaza there was a lot of workers that came into Israel and work in the farms and the lands there. A lot of Arabs, and they just came. So now you don't know if you said it happened to them. Why wouldn't it happen to me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
very
just
much
cautious. Yeah. My barber was a Palestinian.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it just kind of ruined all types of relationships now.
Yeah, we prefer not to.
We're just
say that.
cautious, yeah. It's nothing to blame. I think he's a great guy. He's a top tier barber. But we're just cautious.
Wow. Yeah. If you had to let Americans know just anything about you and you know, just your heart behind this war, what would it be?
Well, my heart behind this war.
I know it's peace,
Yeah.
but what does that peace look like? What would you say like your perfect image of the land to be? Palestine, Gaza, Israel. If you had to draw all this up, you say, man, if I had the power, if God just gave me the power today to make it look like this, what would that look like?
I would make it look of coexistence.
We would like it.
Yeah, we would like it.
We would like it to coexist, yes, but
At this moment, I don't think that.
at this moment we don't really sure we have this
have,
opportunity.
Yeah.
We will not have this
I
opportunity.
wish that in a perfect world, everybody would coexist, Christians and Jews and Arabs.
So if you want that, if you want to coexist, why do you think that's not happening? Like, is it just the Palestinians, or is it also just that conflict? Is it both sides, or is it just?
I think that through history
Shows us that they also got the opportunity.
Yeah, there's a
They
lot
chose
of
not to.
yeah, there's a lot of deals that were made, and not pieces, but somewhere of a truce, yeah, and it just always exploded. Most of the time, it was because of the Palestinians did a terrorist attack, and I don't know if everybody there is truly against Israel and everything, but that's when you sometimes you see their schools, and you see like they have. I was shocked to see they had like a map of Gaza and Israel, and it was how do you say? They had an X on the Israel side, like,
Wow.
and I was like, wow, that's the map. Like they had Gaza in all glorious, and that's and a big X on the map, and it was. I was shocked. Like I didn't know how to react. I was wow, like it's a kid's school, and
Right.
that's what they teach him. I like the hate that they have sometimes.
We don't understand it.
Yeah, we don't understand.
Okay.
So I would like to tell you that when we think about the conflict there, especially we're at a Bible college, right? We're
Yeah.
Christians, and Christians tend to define what's happening in Israel through a biblical lens, through a biblical worldview. So we see the conflict in the Old Testament and what some of the, Persia is Iran and
Yeah.
all the things that happen there. And so we look through the Bible and the lens of that. Do you refer to the Bible to understand what's happening to Israel at all? Like, is there a God sense of what's happening with Israel through
If we
the Bi-
think there is a God sentence.
a God?
the question.
Right? Is there a way that you see what's happening with Israel now as prophecy from the Bible, from the Old Testament?
Well, I didn't actually thought about
Yeah.
it, but there is similarities. Yes, the exact timing, the exact timing around Purim, around we call it Megillat Esther, around the story of us being persecuted by Persian king, and it's like happening again the same timing area. So yes, there are connections, but I don't think that we are religious enough to make them, so we're very certain about
Yeah.
it.
Okay. So
Yes.
yeah. See, there's podcasts. There's right. It's like everything. Looking it through the Old Testament lens to give us a sense of it's the end times. I mean, it's really interesting how Christians has it all figured out.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, I know that you guys may not believe in, obviously Jesus as the Messiah, I'm guessing. All right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because when we read the Bible, like we land in the book of Revelation and Daniel and all the prophecies that we're pulling, we see the things that are happening today, and it seems to be lining up with what the Bible is saying is to happen in the end times. I think that's where she's headed with that. And just when it's kind of like we see, Palestine and Israel going at it, and the Christians are standing back going, well, look at that. That's what the Bible says, And we were wondering if you guys, being that you have the Torah, would actually see it through that lens also, as if, the Torah does say that.
I'm sure that there are a lot of people in Israel that see what you're talking about, but I don't. Me,
Yeah.
at least, I don't.
Yeah, I'm not religious enough.
And it's
Yeah, to
not,
think
and
about
it's
it.
not something the IDF commanders or part of your training.
There are
You-
some.
But
What?
as part of a training, like official training, to take a religious worldview.
Yeah, I doubt that. Yeah. Well,
Right? You don't. No.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of religious people.
In the IDF, yes.
Yeah,
that's
my
but
commanders, they were really religious.
Yeah.
And we used to do like Shabbat in the tent together. And after Shabbat, to welcome the week, it's called Avdalah. So we would do this, and there's a lot of, and we coexist. We were okay with that. Like I learned a lot from them, they learned a lot from me about, because sometimes the really religious people and the not so religious, the levels, you don't connect if not in the army, you don't really connect too much. And then only when you get there and you see them, you learn. I learned so much about the religion, things that I didn't know, and I thought I know, and I'm a Jewish, and I know religion, and I studied in school, but still, when you see them and you talk to them, it's really amazing. Yeah, to learn. I learned so much things that I didn't know, that as a Jewish man I need to do. Yeah.
Did you meet any Christians in the IDF? Yeah?
Yeah, I had, I think, one soldier at my service that was Christian, yes. But they also do the same. Like if they're Christian, we have an option in the army to, every soldier in the army, especially in the fighter jobs, you need to swear on the Bible that you are going to defend Israel.
Yeah.
But the other religious, if we have Muslim, if we have Christian, for example, they swear on the New Testament.
Yeah, and even if you're not a believer, you can.
Yeah, you can ask
swear,
whatever you
yeah.
want. We even have the I don't know how you say Bedouin.
Bedouin?
Spaghetti.
No, Bedouin.
The Bedouins
yeah, and the
Bible? Or,
Druze,
yeah,
yes.
and the Druze.
Yes, you have all of this. All of
Yeah,
them.
it's funny. People try to.
So they
do
choose the
funny
God
stuff.
that they want to swear by.
Yeah, everything. Even the spaghetti monster. They know that religion.
Yes!
They won't give it to you, but you can ask for
For
it.
it.
Yeah.
They won't get it.
The spaghetti monster. Oh, wow. I
Yeah.
haven't heard that in a long time. Wow.
No, you guys are doing just an amazing, job. Just thank you again for being here with us, for joining us and giving us some clarity about what's happening in the Middle East. I'm not going to keep you guys long. I just have one last question, and I'll turn it
That's
over to
okay.
Milsey to close out.
Okay.
Just me. I'm always, coming from this side of putting myself in other people's shoes. And so when I think about just, people on the other side that you may not know, who don't know you and think that maybe you're the monster coming to destroy, Perhaps they're a civilian mom with some kids who have lost somebody or something like that. What would you want that mom or that person, that civilian on the other side to know about you that can give them some kind of solace?
You want to go first or me?
No, you can go ahead.
If I had the chance to talk to them, I think I would say them that I come in peace. I don't want to kill anybody, only if I must. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's hard for us too. Nobody likes war.
Yeah.
The knowing that you go into war, it's never nice. It's always hard, and you do this over and over again. And every day when you wake up, you don't wake up at home. You wake up at war, and it's hard, and nobody wants to do it. And let's make things with peace. If someone can hear me, we don't want to kill. We want to be happy, everybody, to spread love throughout the world. And yeah, that's it pretty much.
Do you want to go?
No, I think he sums it up very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a clear
Yeah.
message from an IDF soldier, guys. We want
Yeah.
peace,
Yeah,
not
we
war.
want
all right?
peace.
So,
Yeah. I just, we met in 2023. I actually went
Yeah.
to your IDF graduation, so in Israel. And Gal was an amazing tour guide while we were there. And I remember our friend Cristalia and I wanting to go to Gaza. And that was 2 months before
Before the attack.
Yeah.
October 10th, and we just wanted to go to Gaza. And you said, "Well, I want to go. Why don't we?" And
It's
then
dangerous,
yeah,
yeah.
it's dangerous.
Don't go.
And who would have known, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What occurred? I do have a question about faith. Two questions, actually. One about faith. Would you say that your faith in God is stronger now since the war? Yes?
Yes, I think it got stronger because
Yeah.
during that time, the hard times, to see miracle is easier. You know, it's easier to see miracle, to notice them even. Sometimes I think in life we don't notice them because sometimes they're too small. But during these tough times, during this war, it's much easier.
To see the miracle.
Yes, and also it's easier to get your belief stronger because of how many religious people serves in the army. So you are in the tank in our position. We are in the same tank, in the same metal box. So you want to explore, you want to know more, you talk together. You know, you talk between you two. So he teaches you, you teaches him.
Nice. You too? Stronger
Yeah.
faith?
Yeah, the faith is gone. I told you also that my commanders were really religious. They taught me a lot, and I learned a lot. It's a beautiful thing, religion, I think.
Yeah.
That's
I
good.
think everybody needs something to believe in.
Yeah. And this could be the last question. You're 21, you're 23?
24.
24, okay. You've lived in this war experience many lives compared with young men your age. What makes you a different man from your counterparts that have no experience in what you've gone through? What makes you a different man?
I don't think we're different. I think we trained for this. Like you're trained for war essentially when you go to the army. It's not that you're different. It's just that you got a lot of practice, and a lot of the time it's muscle memory. You don't think, you just do stuff. You know that you need to do it, and you just do. It's all in the training. Yeah.
I think that what set us apart is the proportion. We got proportions
Also,
about life. We got proportion about life. You realize during the war, during the combat, when your life is on the stake, you realize what's really important. And I see it help a lot of men of Israel that have this experience to get a proportion on life. What's matter? What's really exciting? You know, you don't get excited very quick anymore, especially in Israel. Yeah, because you're used to seeing things that are much more. And proportion, I think it's
The major difference
the major
Yeah.
difference.
of being a man.
You're
It's like-
maturing also, yeah.
and with children. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
How can we pray for you guys?
I think we're doing an amazing job in the
Yeah.
current praying. Yeah. And we feel it. We feel it on the battlefield. We feel it.
Yeah, we feel that there's people
people
behind us.
that are helping us and
That
guiding
support
us.
us.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
All right.
And it's
we'll
amazing.
continue to pray for you guys.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, guys.
There
Thank
guys
you
have
so
it.
much.
Gal and Ziv, guys.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Thank you very
guys.
much.
All right.
With their mom, Hadass, and sister Hadass and Dorit.
That's right.
Thank you.
So again, don't forget to subscribe because we want to bring more content like this into your living room or your cell phone, whatever you're watching this on. Click the like button, please, so that it can get the algorithm going so we can get this video out to more people. We appreciate you guys, so we'll see you guys next time on another SFPC podcast. God bless.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.